versus Arizona. Here are some facts about the case. The case was decided by the Supreme Court, with the Arizona Supreme Court being the lower court. The petitioner was Timothy Ring. The defendant was the state of Arizona. The case was argued on April 22, 2002. The lawyers involved in this case were Janet Napolitano on behalf of Ring, and Andrew D. Hurwitz argued on behalf of Arizona. Here are some facts behind the case. Timothy Ring was on trial, and the jury convicted him of felony murder during an armed robbery. Based on Arizona law, Ring could not be sentenced to death unless the judge found at least one aggravating factor and no mitigating circumstances in a separate court hearing. In the judge's separate court hearing, they weighed the aggravation and mitigation circumstances and sentenced Ring to death. The Supreme Court overturned a portion of Walton v. Arizona and upheld Apprendi v. New Jersey, since Arizona allowed the sentencing judge without a jury to find an aggravating circumstance for imposition of the death penalty. The defendant may not be exposed to the death penalty exceeding the maximum he would have received if punished according to the facts reflecting in the jury verdict alone. Both Ring and Apprendi are classified as procedural cases as opposed to substantive cases. The Supreme Court ruled 7-2 to overturn the case after a compelling argument from Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The people who ruled in favor of overruling the case were Stevens, Scalia, Kennedy, Scouter, Thomas, Ginsburg, and Breyer. The majority explanation that I agree with in this case, the majority believe that the Sixth Amendment was in play here. The Sixth Amendment states that exposed to a penalty exceeding the maximum he would have received if punished according to the facts reflected in the jury verdict alone. This basically states that the judge cannot convict the defendant of anything that the jury did not already convict the defendant of. I agree with this because I believe everyone deserves the right to trial by jury and not judge. The opposition stance. Reinhurst and O'Connor believed that this was unconstitutional based off the case of Walton v. Arizona. They said that they had not overturned this similar case, so they must not overturn this case. And I agree with this stance as well, because you can't just flip-flop back and forth on opinions depending on the case to case. But this did not end up being a proper argument, and the Supreme Court overturned Ring v. Arizona and portions of Walton v. Arizona. Thank you.